and they put out signature Caitlin Clark balls and other merch that literally sold out within minutes of them going.
Nike has finally realized who the WNBA star is and has begun to heavily promote Caitlin Clark's custom Nike Infinity Tour 2 golf shoes. The recent backlash has prompted Nike to increase Caitlin Clark's promotion, which has angered A'ja Wilson because some fans still think A'ja is the best.
Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment?
Exactly.
Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why when A'ja was releasing a shoe were we talking about Caitlin?
When it comes to marketing, A'ja doesn't sell. However, when Nike releases Caitlin Clark products, they sell out instantly. When they release A'ja products, nobody even cares. A simple black t-shirt sold out within an hour. A'ja believes she is the draw, the star, and should be promoted the most, but sadly, the statistics show that she has been the best player this year.
A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Well, she has come out and she has made some more comments, and it is like these players just don't want these new fans, even though the new fans are the ones that drive the revenue, plain and simple.
A'ja Wilson is still confident in her ability to rival Caitlin. Even though A'ja Wilson is attempting to get in the way, Nike is finally making an effort to promote Caitlin Clark. At least they have realized who the true star is and are giving it their all. Let's hope A'ja doesn't ruin Caitlin's chances like she did a few weeks ago. Nike promised to promote Caitlin more, but it's obvious that she didn't deliver and didn't impress. Now that Caitlin is getting the shine, A'ja can't handle the heat.
Your play on the court doesn't always equate to how many shoes you will.
Nike initially stuck with Wilson and kept her as their main WNBA representative, but as Clark's fan base grew rapidly, Nike had no choice but to start paying more attention to her. People were talking about her on social media and in sports media, and even casual basketball fans who might not have followed the WNBA closely were suddenly interested in Clark. Nike realized that this was more than just hype. This was the future of women's basketball, and if they didn't support Clark, they risked missing out on a fantastic opportunity.
Voice that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people have to say.
Although Wilson saw this change as a personal betrayal rather than a straightforward business decision, Nike initially didn't take any significant action because they had already made significant investments in A'ja Wilson and weren't prepared to change their focus just yet. However, as time went on, Nike's hesitation started to wear thin. Not only was Clark a talented athlete, but she also started a movement that inspired others to aspire to be like her. Nike saw that young fans were some of the greatest potential of the most valuable consumers for a company like Nike because they are devoted, make large purchases, and frequently persuade friends and family to follow suit, something A'ja Wilson was unable to achieve.
It led a bunch of these players to get very jealous and petty very quickly.
Nike had to acknowledge the reality as Clark's popularity increased. Although her abilities on the court were a major factor, Clark's ability to attract spectators wasn't only dependent on her performance. She was rapidly emerging as one of the most marketable athletes in women's sports. Nike began to see that Clark's attraction went beyond the normal basketball fan base. She was a name that people were discussing in many groups, and a brand can really benefit from that kind of crossover appeal.
Somebody coming along and elevating the sport shine ultimately benefits you. Go out there, compete with her, try to bust her up if you want to, and all of that stuff. Just don't hate on the acclaim that she's...
This was a turning point for Nike because Clark was attracting new fans, demographics, and a level of excitement that was difficult to match. When Nike sees a rising star like that, they know it's time to take action, so they started directing their promotional efforts toward Clark. As you can imagine, this didn't sit well with Wilson, who couldn't help but feel envious of Clark's sudden rise. It wasn't just that Clark was receiving more attention. Wilson felt she had earned the spotlight, and it appeared that Clark hadn't had to endure the same hardships or difficulties that Wilson had hinted at this in her public remarks, implying that Clark's rise was partly due to factors other than just basketball talent. This public back and forth had an effect on Wilson's image up until this point. Wilson had been seen as a modest, hardworking star who let her game speak for itself, But now her remarks about Clark were being interpreted as bitter, and resentful fans who had once cheered her on were beginning to wonder if Wilson could handle the pressure of sharing the spotlight with another rising star. It wasn't a good look for Wilson. Fans recognized something in Clark that went beyond the game. She was relatable, charismatic, and most importantly, thrilling to watch every time she took the court. They watched game after game because they knew that something extraordinary might happen at any time. One of the main factors that made Clark so desirable was her ability to connect with her audience. They wanted to be a part of her journey rather than just watch her perform. To wear her jerseys, follow her on social media, and help her in any way they can. Her kind of fan loyalty is extremely uncommon, and brands like Nike pay close attention to it since they knew they would get enormous returns if they could tap into her fan base.
Saw the jersey sales numbers. We didn't actually see the actual numbers, but we saw the top jersey sales in the WNBA this season. And Asia, despite being a third-time MVP, her jersey sales were 5th in the league, even after Kate Martin, who barely saw the court the second half of this.
Fans couldn't get enough of Clark, and Nike saw this as a huge business opportunity. However, the real game changer was the anticipation for Clark's custom shoe, which fans had been waiting for. When Nike hinted that they were working on a shoe with Clark's name on it, the excitement reached new heights, and everyone knew that when the shoe finally dropped, it would sell out in minutes. Devoted and passionate, and they were prepared to help her in any way they could. For Asia Wilson, this was a difficult comparison because when Nike had released her signature shoe, the response wasn't nearly as strong. Wilson had a devoted fan base, but it wasn't on the same level as Clark's. Wilson's merchandise sales were consistent, but they weren't close to the sellout numbers that Clark was producing. This was one of the main reasons Nike started shifting their promotional focus. It wasn't personal.
Asia Wilson currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if Asia Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell Asia's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be.
Brand's dream is this kind of commercial success, which is why Nike couldn't ignore Clark any longer. They realized that strongly advertising Clark would increase sales and brand awareness, which is what finally led them to choose Wilson. No matter how successful she was on the court, her clothing sales simply fell short of Clark's, and in the world of sports marketing, that's what counts. Nike's choice to change their emphasis from All Wilson to Caitlin Clark was not chosen at random. Rather, it was the outcome of thorough research and calculated preparation. One of the largest brands is Nike in the world, and they don't make decisions lightly. They had been with Wilson for years and had developed a close bond with her. But when Caitlin Clark rose to prominence, they realized that this was a chance they couldn't pass up. Players like Angel Reese supported Asia, but the truth is that Caitlin is Nike's star, and Asia had to resign.
Stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She couldn't tell left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it.
From Nike's point of view, this was about following the numbers rather than picking one player over another or claiming that Clark was superior to Wilson. Nike realized that they needed to take advantage of the fact that Clark was attracting more fans, excitement, and revenue, so they decided to invest more of their promotional resources in him. This was a calculated business decision, to put it simply, and it didn't make things any easier for Asia Wilson. For her, this change felt personal because she had been the face of Nike's WNBA ads for a long time, and now it appeared as though they were moving on without her. However, from Nike's point of view, this was simply the company's natural evolution. Clark was the rising star, and they needed to invest in her to keep the brand moving forward. Asia was not pleased at all, and it was evident.
Oh, stop being petty. Stop being catty, cause she like a double-edged sword. She couldn't tell left and right, and it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it.
Asia Wilson had built her entire image around her relationship with Nike, so when the company began to focus more on Caitlin Clark, it was more than simply a financial move. It was a deeply personal moment. She felt as though her efforts were being disregarded. Wilson couldn't help but feel wounded and frustrated by the circumstances. Wilson has a long and solid relationship with Nike, having worked with them for many years, had embraced her role as a leader in the WNBA, represented their brand with pride, and been the face of significant campaigns. But the truth was that she was unable to sell. She may have been the best player for years, but her ability to sell products was lacking. You can be a good player, but being a star is entirely different. Caitlyn possesses both of these qualities.
Seriously? The arrogance. People are going to consume what they want to consume and who they want to consume, whether you like it or not, and it's not up to A'ja Wilson to let anybody do anything.
The WNBA has been working for years to raise awareness of women's basketball, and Caitlin Clark's success has not only improved her own career, but also elevated the league as a whole. Her appeal isn't just about her on-court performance. It's also about how she connects with fans, the energy she brings to the game, and the potential she has to draw in new audiences. People who may not have previously followed the WNBA are now tuning in to watch Clark play. Sponsorship deals are beginning to come in for the WNBA, which has been working hard to expand its fan base. This is largely because of Clark's star power brands, which may not have previously been interested in partnering with the league but are now eager to do so because of Clark's popularity. This increased sponsorship interest means more money for the league, which can be used to improve facilities, raise player salaries, and promote the game to a wider audience. Clark's success is evidence that there is a sizable market for women's sports, which is pushing the WNBA forward. New fans who are enthusiastic about women's basketball are beginning to see the WNBA as a league full of talented, exciting players, which is helping to change the narrative around the sport.
He's got one of the hottest selling jerseys in sports, y'all. According to Fanatics, led by the one and only Michael Rubin, Clark's Indiana Fever jersey is apparently sold out in all sizes. It was rumored that she actually outsold Dallas Cowboys.
Wilson made it apparent in her public remarks that she was frustrated and that she thought she should be given more credit going forward. Wilson must choose how to respond to this circumstance. She can either keep publicly expressing her frustrations or concentrate on improving her skills and rebuilding her reputation. This is a pivotal point in Wilson's career, and her future actions will determine how people view her, describe her, or will she overcome it and demonstrate that she is still among the best players. A'ja needs to acknowledge that Caitlyn is a huge star in the league who can support her on the court and is also a major marketing talent.
Whenever she goes, ratings follow. The WNBA draft, the doubleheader to open the NBA season, ratings.
Although A'ja Wilson may find this change frustrating, the WNBA as a whole is benefiting from Clark's success, which is opening doors for other players and pushing the league to new heights. It's just unfortunate that some players don't want to see Caitlyn's rise and don't recognize what she's doing for the sport, while Wilson may feel sidelined for the time being, but overall, Clark's rise is a win for women's sports.
Yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now. And this is just data. This is just objective facts. Be mad with data. Please do not be mad at...
Everyone involved benefits from Clark's ability to draw in new fans and sponsorship deals, which is advancing the WNBA. Hopefully, players will soon realize Caitlyn's impact. If you liked, please leave a like and subscribe. More videos are now available.